Hi guys, it's Kamil here. And I'm going to do the Future Classic book tag. The tag was created by one of my favorite people here on BookTube, Eric from the Lonesome reader. And thank you, Eric, for tagging me. Before we go any further, I wanted to recommend Shawn The Book Maniac Future Classic book tag video, as Shawn talks for a few minutes about classics definition by Italo Calvino and by Mark Twain, and that was super interesting. So I will link Eric and Shawn's channels down in the box below. For me, classic is something that addresses human condition so timelessly that it's relevant regardless of era that we find ourselves living in. So, having that definition in mind, I'll answer Eric's questions. The first question is, pick an established classic that you think will still be relevant in the future. Crime and Punishment by Fiodor Dostojewski, as it shows that every idea, even the one coming from an honorable place, can lead to ethical bankruptcy if it's pushed to extremes. Here in Crime and Punishment, an utilitarian, one might claim, idea of ending misery of humans being in the hand of an old moneylender. I'm not religious, while Dostoevsky's protection against morally questionable ideas was Christianity, obviously. Mine is the golden rule, treating others as one would wish to be treated. The second book, The Trial by Franz Kafka, as this is the ultimate example of individual struggle against the system, and as long as humanity exists, it will create systems, and as long as we live, there will be people struggling with the darker side of those systems. Oh, and just a side comment. A few days ago I finished The Line Becomes a River by Francisco Cantu. This one shows how US border and immigration policy affects the life of families on both sides of the border. Please give it a go, the system, again. Okay, the third one, Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. Showing the danger of not being able to understand the limits of our understanding and trying to see the others through our own frame of rules. It's a science fiction novel, and I believe the future of human civilization lays in the stars or in annihilation, so it should become even more relevant. Okay, the second question is, pick a recent book that you feel has gone under the radar, but which you're confident will be read in the future as a classic. It's hard for me, as most books that I pick up are picked up by literary awards, but I have one. Ananda, Devi, Eve Out of Her Ruins. This is a book that I was pushing on everybody, and I'm happy to see that nobody, seriously nobody that I've received feedback from, was disappointed with it. Ananda Devi shows life of teenagers in slums of Mauritius. She does it with a beautiful poetic melody to it, and in a way that grabs your heart and makes you at least think for a second how lives of most population from our holidays paradises look like, if we lean out from the stunning scenery of luxurious hotels. And the third question is, pick a title that won one of your favorite book prizes recently, which you think will still be lauded in 50 years' time. You know, Eric tricked me a bit with the recently part, as for sure I was going to show Disgrace by JM Coetzee, but let's stick to the question and let me go with A Horse Walks into a Bar by David Grossman. Man Booker International Prize 2017. This one showing the moral condition of a society facing a crime committed almost every day on its neighbors. The Brief History of 7 Killings, Marlon James, Man Booker Prize 2015. I was hesitant here. As much as I loved this book, I know that this book is not for everybody. Mostly because it's very intense, often difficult. It shifts perspectives, it's very politically engaged, strongly focused in Jamaican reality, which most of us obviously has nothing to do with. But there's a very present overlying theme showing a society torn apart by bigger political players, Soviet Union and USA during the Cold War, and I think because of that it will stand the test of time. Adam Johnson, 2013 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction. Just like Kafka, Johnson shows individuals struggling against the system, so powerful that the happy ending is doomed from the very beginning, before we even start reading this one. Nonetheless, he does that in such an inventive, capturing way, showing what's the best in us human, that it's incredibly difficult to put this one down. Question number 4. Pick a book, a recent one that you haven't read yet, but which you think might become a classic based on reputation alone, reviews, responses on Goodreads, BookTube, recommendation, etc. Something I haven't read yet. It's a bit of a cheat, as it's my bow to an author that I think might be a force to reckon with, and his book, A State of Freedom, is talking about a very present problem, one that will not disappear and most probably will become only more urgent in the future. Migration. And this is something I cannot wait to read. It received brilliant reviews, and if it's at least as good as The Life of Others, it will be an intensive, brilliant and eye-opening experience, right? Then a question number 5. Pick a favorite book that you want to save for your grandchildren or your friends' grandchildren to read in 50 years' time. This can be a children's book or a book for adults. Anything that I connected personally and I think that future generation will connect with. Okay, so White Noise by DeLillo, to help them understand that most of the craziness and the topics that society is happily being engaged in any given moment is just a white noise. Okay guys, please let me know if you read any of those books and if you would put them on the list if you were making this video yourself, and let me know your answers to those questions if they differ from mine. Obviously they will. Talk to you soon. I hope in a more optimistic video, okay? Bye bye guys.